Hey guys, Sorin here, and in today's play session, I thought I'd show you my safe trade route here in the Crusader system. I am sporting a new subscriber helmet. Actually, it's last month's, but I wasn't a subscriber last month, and it's still available. So anyway, it's $4 from the store. It's a 40% helmet, pretty sweet. But anyway, we're starting here at Porto. I did go ahead and pick up a Freelancer Max just because I feel like it's a ship that most people could use for trading. It's not too big, not too expensive rather, and it is available. So you don't really have to get anything here at Porto, but where we're going to go first, which is the Galette family farms, they will purchase medical supplies if you have any. So I'm going to go ahead and fill up the hull with that for the 2 trip, and yeah, I'll kind of show you as we go the different steps and anything that happens along the way. So just a couple other comments about the Freelancer Max. One thing that I didn't know about it for a while was the fact that even though it is a medium ship, it actually can jump through small jump points, unlike the Connie. So that could be attractive in the future in that it could perhaps do some trade routes that the Connie wouldn't be able to do, or would have to do kind of a more roundabout way to get there. Additionally, it has those 4-sized, essentially gimbaled guns on the sides, and the stock ones are energy weapons, which really aren't that impressive in combat, but it's the same loadout of hard points as the Miss, which is an absolute terror. And so if you put some of the, I think they're the Mantis guns is what they're called, but anyway, just the really fast firing ballistic weapons on there, the size 3s, it would be an absolute terror. And on the wings, it has, I think, size 4 and a size 3 hardpoint for missiles. They might be smaller, but were I to make this my daily flyer, I would go ahead and just switch out those hardpoints with size 1 missiles and end up getting something probably like 16 size 1 missiles on this, which would make it really a quite capable ship for fighting fighters. One thing that, again, I've just kind of found out over time is, the smaller missiles actually don't do a lot less damage than the larger missiles. They just have worse tracking and I think move more slowly. But, a lot of times the reason I'm shooting missiles is just to distract the other pilot and to kind of cause them to have to do some other things, and, occasionally do get a nice hit on them. So I would more or less always prefer to go with a lot of smaller missiles than just a few really large ones. So here we are, heading over to the Galette family farms first. I tell you what, it is such a contrast getting here in the Freelancer Max relative to the Caterpillar or even the Starfarer. Both of those, you kind of have to keep your speed relatively low as you're traveling along the surface, because it just takes them so very long to stop. Whereas the Freelancer, you can basically stop from 300 meters in, I don't know exactly how far, maybe in 1,000 meters, which is much better. So anyway, all right, well, I will come back once we are at the terminal. All right, so one thing I want to point out is that the Galette family farms are not a armistice zone, so you can get ganked, so probably best to wear some good armor and have your gun close by. So we're going to go ahead and quickly sell these medical supplies. Oof, not good. So 348, we bought them for 352, which is like a 1.1% profit or something. So probably skip that step. We're going to go ahead and get some processed food. So you see, basically we have our inventory full. So if we had a larger ship, we could buy more. There is a limited stock, so I don't really know what the upper end of how much we can ever buy at one time is, but it's at least nice to have something as we're going to the next spot. All right, so something else not to freak out about is, as you can see, the back of our ship looks like it's empty, but in fact, the inventory is there. If you want to double check, you can look real fast. Let's see. So you see the UAC that we spent on the goods was taken from our account, so pretty safe to say that we do have them there. You just can't see them. So what I usually do when I'm on almost any planet and trying to get to another place on it is you do usually have to get a little bit out of atmosphere before it will actually allow you to do a jump. So I go ahead and oh man, I love the new model where you can actually see through the planet the locations. But I go ahead and hit V, which puts me in the decoupled mode, which then allows me to point my ship at wherever the jump point is and continue moving up. That way I don't move back down into the atmosphere. And then go ahead and get the lock and do the jump. I do go ahead and need to deactivate the decouple when I get to my destination or right before I leave, just because it can be difficult to land when decoupled. But yep. All right. I'll see you at the Terra Mills building. All right, so here we are at the Terra Mills Hydro Farms, and one thing I want to point out is that a lot of times outposts have lots of buildings, and you know which one has the trade terminal by the building that has the kind of the horn on the top. So I don't know if you saw as I was running up, but there's a red little pillar sticking up. So we're gonna go ahead and sell our processed food. So again, we bought it for $14,400. And yeah, sold it for $9,099. So made $3,599, which is like a 25% profit. So it's pretty great. Now, the next place we're going to go, we'll buy distilled spirits. So we're going to go ahead and buy as many as we can. So filled up our inventory. So if we had a bigger ship, again, we could make more from this leg of the trip. But I think even on that much, we'll see a reasonable return. So next destination is Tram and Myers Mining. It is yet another one of the non-armistice zone places, unlike the place we're at right now. So a little bit risky, but you know, I find that I actually haven't ever been ganked when doing this route. So all right, we'll see you when we get to Tram and Myers. All right, here we are at Tram and Myers Mining, just a single little building, so don't really have to look for where the trading console is. One thing I've been meaning to check is to see if perhaps we could sell like surface minables here. Let's see, under sell. Okay, so there's a tap. Definitely worth checking out. So sell our distilled spirits, not bad. So we bought them for $56.50, sold them for $6,085. That's 435 UEC profit, or 7.7%. Not as good as the processed food was, but still pretty darn good. So we're going to go ahead and buy as much laranite as we can. Reason being is that's a much more expensive resource. And so even though the margin might not be as good, we can get more of it, and it might equal out. And then we'll just fill up the rest on diamonds. And yeah, from here we'll go to Porto and unload and finish our route. I'll see you at Porto. All right, back at Porto. So just to remind everyone, we started with 48,814. So after we're able to sell this, we'll see how much we made, and we'll maybe look at kind of a breakdown by resource and how much each one made us. So I'm going to sell the laranite first. Looks like we're not able to quite sell everything, but that's fine. Now, all kiosks across US servers do sell share demand for how much they're willing to buy. So, okay. So initially it said we could buy 36, or it would buy 36,000 of ours, and we got an error. So someone probably quickly got a trade in on one of the other servers. But that's okay. So we'll sell what we can here. What I usually do is I just hop servers, and that will allow me to usually sell them. Okay, also over time, there's ticks in how much source demand. So even just the time we were right there, the demand in laranite went enough that we were able to sell all of our laranite, and then just a little more diamond, but it's going to be faster if we just go to a different server completely. So I'll be right back once we've done that. All right, so here we are on the European server and able to sell a little bit more. Usually, honestly, I find the European and Australian servers, as long as I'm playing in kind of non-peak hours, I'm pretty easily able to sell everything. So, all right, head to the Aussie one, and then we should be done. All right, here we are on the Australian server, and yes, we're able to clear it all out. So ending balance 59,158. That's pretty great. So we started with 48,814. That is a total profit of 10,344 or 21.19%. Just kind of a breakdown by resource. Looks like the medical supplies yielded us 1.15%. Man, I tell you what, the processed food was the best. It was at 24.99%. But again, I think that resource is a bit supply constrained, so you can only buy so much of it. The distilled spirits were 7.7%. Laranite was a bust, at least between these two locations. That was just 1%. And then the diamonds were 14%. So if you're really trying to maximize your time, I would recommend maybe just going to the Terra Mills mining and just buying diamonds and doing those back and forth. If you're in, a Constellation, maybe a Cutlass Black or a Freelancer, once you start getting more money than I think probably 100,000, it might be time to go over to the Herston system and start trading in some of the higher or more expensive resources that have a decent margin, but that way you can fit a lot more on your ship and make more per run. So anyway, I hope that this was helpful. Appreciate you taking the time to watch it. And if you all have any other recommendations of good trade routes, I'd love to hear them in the comments. But yeah, if you enjoyed this, hope you'll consider subscribing. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Thanks.